Hey, good morning, Lori. Hello, hello. Sharon Landry, good morning. Great to see you this morning. Hey, good morning, Lori. Great. Good morning, Allison. Hope you are grand. Good morning, John. Great to see you here. Good morning, Sharon. Hello, hello. Good morning, Donna. Hello. Welcome, welcome. Good morning. Cheers, everybody. Jamie, ahoy. I hope you are healing well, that things were going good. That Jamie just had a little surgery earlier in the week, and so we are holding her dear. How is everybody? Good, good, good. A few more people arriving. Good morning, Donna. Great to see you here. Ours. How is everybody this morning? Hair looks good when I do it myself. There you go. It was a long haul. The old COVID hair was getting me. I was headed towards I was somewhere. I was saying I was somewhere between, Civil War general and drunken Confederate Civil War general. Somewhere in there, somewhere that was just about my hairstyle right before I got it cut. So, yeah. So it's definitely holding up. So it is. My neck. I have full range of motion in my neck again because I'm not carrying a helmet. So, good morning. Good morning, Cecile. Welcome, welcome. Great to see you here. So glad you are with us. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Bonnie Braga. Bonnie and Sue yesterday made the rounds to all of our Sunday school kids and offered them did an ice cream drop. So brought them an ice cream bar and it was great. Hey, good morning, Audrey. I hope Riley is doing well. When I was able to braid my beard, I was advised it was time to trim it. I think that's, unless you're going full Viking, unless you're gonna really embrace that, I think you're right. I think there's probably wisdom in that. That sounds about right. So, yeah, that's great. So Bonnie and Sue went to many of our Sunday school kids and had the chance to drop off some ice cream. I don't know if they got everybody, but it was really great that that piece of hospitality there. That it was terrific that we might, because. Even though our Sunday school isn't gathering right now, they are all very much a part of our lives and very much a part of our prayers and a part of our world. So we are happy that I'm so overjoyed they chose to do that and be a part of that. Kind of reach out to them. Good morning, Cecile. Good morning, Irene. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Audrey, I hope little Riley's doing well and. Good morning. If you don't know, she's doing very well. Ah, that's great to hear. Good morning. Good morning, Deb. Great to see you. And I'm so glad I'm glad there's a chuckle in your morning. Yes. So if you don't know, Audrey had a great granddaughter recently, and who was born about 6 weeks early and is spending a little time up at Hasbro to be cared for, and that but she's doing very well and is healing well. And also, as we're talking about prayers that we might hold Shelby in our prayers, she is continuing to heal and holding up. And also Vicky, who we haven't who is her dog Macy has been really ill, so we've been praying for her as well. Those are awful times when we come to lose one of our furry friends. So as our community kind of moves forward here, that's what we'll continue to hold all of us in prayer, all of these in prayers. So this morning I want to. It is the 17th day of June, 17 June. We have been doing this for some time now. We first began in I think it was the 13th of March, something like that, and we've been gathering and together. Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Matt. Good morning, Linda. Great to see you coming in. That we have been gathering and being a part of this journey together now for months. So it is, and so because of that, I want to actually take a little bit of a hard turn today, and I want to invite you to think about some of the challenging parts of what we're finding ourselves in. You see, on Monday or on Tuesdays, I'm on a part of a call that has about 50 to 60 different providers from around our city here in Fall River that are. Oh, that's great. That's good. Macy's doing well. Hey, Jackie Donovan, great to see you here. I'm a part of this call, this Zoom call with everybody playing the Brady Bunch there, but it's providers from all over the city. And one of the providers that offers a report to us is what's called Samaritans, and Samaritans are the primary suicide prevention group here in the South Coast, and they do terrific work. So hey, good morning, Cindy. Great to see you here. And so Samaritans, they offer us a report, and I want to just and we all kind of know this, I think, a little bit inside, but through this time since March and April and May that's been going on, and now we're into the mid of June. Good morning, Robin Carden. Robin Carden's here, everybody. Oh, Robin Carden, my heart. So that through this time, we've been looking at the suicide statistics, and they have been rising. And in fact, what's since the beginning of COVID, the more and more people have been calling the suicide hotline. More and more people have been at risk for suicide that call the hotline. Not everybody who's calls the hotline is necessarily suicidal. Some people are struggling with ideas of suicide, as you might imagine. So I want to spend a moment today talking about that. I know it's a hard thing. I know it's not what we all want to talk about. I know we want to talk about rah stuff. But we have, this whole movement, this whole 11/11 movement that we've been a part of, is having people that we would journey with. You and I, pilgrims together here in this digital space, but connected and a part of it day in and day out. Now we're on a 3-day schedule, and then we have a part of our we worship on Sundays, but that we are a part. We're checking in with each other all the time to be a part of this journey, and that part of this is keeping each other safe. Part of it is keeping ourselves and keeping those around us and those we love safe. And so I want to just talk about this for a moment. And I want to start with the 4th chapter of John 1, or of the 1st John. So John writes this. He says, "Beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God. For many false prophets have gone into the world. By this you know the Spirit of God. Every spirit that confesses that Jesus Christ has come into the flesh is from God. Every spirit that does not confess Jesus is not from God. This is the spirit of the Antichrist, of which you have heard that it is coming, and now it is already in the world. Little children, you are from God, and have conquered them. For the one who is in you is greater than one who is in the world. They are from the world, therefore what they say is from the world, and the world listens to them. We are from God. Whoever knows God listens to us, and whoever is not from God does not listen to us. And from this we know the spirit of truth and the spirit of error." I think what John's driving at here is this notion that when he starts this text of not every spirit can be trusted, do not believe in every spirit. Well, and I think the one simple way to think about that is, we can't believe every thought that comes into our head. We can't believe every emotion that's in our heart. And that's not who we are, by the way. We have thoughts, we have emotions, we have these things that are a part of us, and yet they are not us. And this is what John is driving at, that we are of God. And that the things that are of God are a part of us, and those things that aren't, they come at us from all sorts of directions. And so one of the things I think we are invited to hold on to in these days is this notion that we're going to have ideas, we're going to have thoughts, we're going to have feelings that are just not ours. They're not us. They're not what we are born of and born for in these days. And that is vital. It's vital that we remember who we are and we remember whose we are. That we are from God, you and I. And so there are three things I want to invite you to think about as you both are, where you are and kind of your own self-inventory, but also looking at the world around you and the people around you and who those people who might be struggling, might be in pain, might be hurting, and how and that things to look for in them. The very first in the very beginning of the book, in Genesis, the very beginning of Genesis, the first not good in all of creation. And I think, I really believe this is hugely significant. The first not good in all of creation is that Adam was alone. The first not good is that we are alone. Our loneliness it is from that all other things begin to break apart. It is our disconnectedness that brings us into all of the brokenness of the world, that all of the difficulties. It's the first thing that is not good. And we want to hide that. We want to, and that in this time of isolation, in this time of disconnection, even though the world is starting to wake up again, it's not necessarily waking up in the ways that we're fast enough or the ways we want it to, the way we think it should. We're still continuing in this journey and I want you to remember that not everything you think is right. And not everything you feel is who you are. You are not what you think. You are not what you feel. You are God's and God's alone, and you are from God and God alone. And so there's three things that when we start talking about people who might be at risk that to keep in mind. And I want to share them with you briefly, and we'll today, because so the three things are this. They are our first is loss. Most suicides, most people who find themselves engaged in suicide have the precipitating thing to that is loss. Friends, we all have lost something in this time. Every one of us has lost something. Every one of us has had our heart broken. Every one of us has had something in this time. Every one of us are kind of, not that and that doesn't mean we're all vulnerable for suicide, but it does mean that we are vulnerable to the grief of what it means to lose something. And so loss is almost all suicidal ideation, all that sort of stuff, begins its journey with some sort of loss. So to be attentive to people's loss, to be attentive to your own loss, to be attentive to the things that you thought were going to be this summer, this spring, that aren't, and grieve them. Let your heart, and friends, share them, because it is not the disconnection of it is not the loss. It is the disconnection that the loss brings us. Share it with those that you love. Share it with the people around you. Share it with me. Heck, with anybody. Share it. If you find yourself in that loss, so that you don't sit in that loss alone, and it has that ability to work on you like a rock in your shoe. The second is hopelessness. And the hopelessness is defined this way. It's just the belief that the world is never going to be better than it is right now. And right now, it's a bag of suck. Right now, it's full of pain. Yes, I said bag of suck. So that is hopelessness. Okay, it is this belief that the world is painful right now, and the belief that it will never be painful. It will never not be painful. That there is no way in which it could change. There's no way in which it could be different, or it could be other than it is. That's the second thing to watch out for, both in yourself and for other people. Hopelessness is a killer. It's deadly. But it comes from our reconnection, that unknowing that we are from God, and that knows that God listens to us, and whoever is not from God does not listen to us. That those things that don't respond to that, they're not the things that nourish. The third is depression. Now, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because depression is a technical term and all that sort of stuff, but I just want to say this about it. That depression is often a turning upside down of our lives. That if we are very active, we might be really passive. If we like to eat, we may have no appetite. If we find joy in the world, we may find no joy in the world. That it's often a turning upside down of people's attitudes, emotions, and temperament. That there's an inversion that happens through the depressive process, and that if you find yourself unable to move, unable to eat, unable to think, or if those are things that are not normally a part of your life, and that you're more and more kind of manic with what's going on, tend to be aware of that, both in yourself and the people around you. Those kind of three things are often the common elements that we find in people who start to be at risk for taking their own life. And I'm sorry for the heaviness of this day. I really am. I didn't mean to ambush anybody with it, and I really hope if you hear this and you've made it this far with us today, that you will go buy yourself an ice cream to go do something beautiful for yourself, because you just touched something that's really hard and really painful, and you've done it because you have a desire to love the world, and you have a desire to bring goodness into the world. So I am grateful for you being here and for you staying with this and being with me in this as far as you've made it. But I wanted you to hear the last parts of this next piece that John offers us, because it is this antidote. It is what we have been given here to do. Which he said, when he starts that phrase with, "Do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits that are from, to see whether they are from God." Well, test your thoughts, test your heart, test it out with other people, test it out with those around you, test out the hopelessness, test out the loss, test out your own depression. But he said, but John goes on to say this. He says, "Beloved, let us love one another, because love is from God. Anyone who loves is born of God and knows God. Whoever does not love does not know God, for God is love. God's love was revealed among us in this way. God sent his only Son into the world that we might live through him. And in this love, not that we loved God, but that he loved us and sent his Son as an atoning sacrifice. Beloved, since God loved us so much, we also ought to love one another. No one has ever seen God if we love one another. God lives in us, and his love is perfected in love." His love is perfected in love. This has been a time of loss. It's been a time of hopelessness. It's been a time of depression. All of these things, all of these dragons are on the scene. And friends, the sword that we might draw, the tonic that we might bring, the spirits that we might test, is this love that we have for one another. So as always, I'm gonna return to you where we've started months ago, and invite you to do the two things that I've invited you to do. I try to mention it almost at least every week, but I try to mention it at least every day if I can. The two things: one, reach out to somebody else. Reach out and check on somebody else. Reach out and care for somebody else, and love them, and do that as we love one another. The second thing: be thankful. Find something to be grateful for, and there's always something to be grateful for. Find something in your gratitude, finding something in your world, find something in the thing that, because it is those two things, the gratitude and the breaking of isolation, that becomes the very sunlight of disinfection for the loss and the hopelessness and the depression of our days. All right, friends, man, thank you. This is heavy stuff, I know. And I am super grateful that you've made it this far and that you came on this journey with me today, because I know it's not the easiest journey, and it may touch many difficult places in our hearts. And as I said before, I hope you'll go and get that ice cream. I hope you'll go and do something rich for yourself today, that you will offer yourself some love and some care and some being, because you are from God. And you know, and you listen to that voice, and it's there for you. It's there for you. All right, friends. In your journeying these days, you are all in my prayers. I carry you with me wherever we go. Tomorrow we will be back here at 11:11. I look forward to seeing you again, and peace and grace in these days, and let us love one another, because love is from God.